Hey guys, this is Mr. Showers' Physical and Chemical Changes Lab. I'm going to be going over the 8 investigations. So just watch and take notes at the end of the lab. There's a data table you can fill in and the 5 questions that I ask you to complete. All right, so investigation 1 deals with using aluminum foil and copper 2 chloride, which I already have set up. Now, let's grab it right here. Okay, copper 2 chloride. It says to measure out 10 mLs of copper 2 chloride. It's a light blue solution. Okay, and you have the aluminum foil. Now, what you're to do is to roll up the little aluminum foil ball and drop it into the copper chloride. After about 10 minutes, you let it react, and then you see there's a slight change. Now, I have already done that, so I'm going to show you the test tube, okay, up close, of the 2 differences. Okay, so right here you have the copper chloride with the aluminum floating on top. It's starting to react very slowly, but after quite some time, you can see that there's a different looking solid in there. Now, I did use a bigger piece of aluminum here just so you can see better on the camera. So it looks like there's some kind of red solid that formed, and notice the color of the liquid went away from blue to clear. So it reacted and formed a new substance. Okay, so that's investigation 1. That one's pretty cool. I like that one. Okay. Now, after lab, we don't want to dump these down the drain. We have a waste container. We're going to put all the substances that we make in there. Okay, now investigation number 2 turns out to be a very bright reaction. So I'm going to put my special lab safety glasses on. Okay, I'm going to light the Bunsen burner. Okay, and you're given a piece of magnesium metal, just like so. Okay, it's about 1 inch long or so. And I'm going to use a pair of crucible tongs to hold it, and then I'm going to introduce it into the flame. Okay, so I'm going to heat it up. Okay, and now we have this stuff, turn the burner on, that if you look at it, turns into like a fine powdery ash. Okay, so looks a little different than the original metal. Okay, so that is what happens when magnesium burns in the presence of oxygen in a flame. It becomes magnesium oxide. All right. Now, investigation number 3. It's kind of lengthy, so I did a little bit of the work beforehand. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're starting out with some copper 2 sulfate, which are these fine blue crystals. Okay, solid. All right, we're going to take some of those. We put them in a mortar and pestle. Okay, and I ground it up into a fine powder like baby powder. Okay, so what I do is I hold it like this and I push down on it and I crush it up. Okay, and it turns into a baby powder. Now, I measure out using my balance a 0.5 gram, 0.5 grams of this substance. Then I transfer it into a test tube like so. Okay, just like that. And notice it's got a bluish color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the Bunsen burner back on. Okay, I'm going to begin heating it up. All right, so you can see it's blue in color. Heating up. You always want to point the test tube away from yourself or others and move it up and down along the flame. okay, and the blue color starts to go away. And you'll start seeing some moisture at the mouth of the test tube or the opening. Okay, that's why I move it back and forth. You help evaporate any kind of moisture in there. And there's a little bit of steam coming out. Might be hard to see online, but it's very faint. And what happens is that blue crystal of copper sulfate starts turning gray. Okay, we let it heat up. Doesn't take too long to heat up. See, it's got a gray color now. All right, so now we just set that down for about 10 minutes till it cools. Okay, and this is what I did earlier. I did a sample. Okay, so I'm going to take one that's already cool to touch, and I'm going to do the next step, which is add water to it. And I'm only going to add a few drops. So I'm going to put the drop directly onto the blue, copper sulfate, which is gray. I'll drop it all the way down there. And as you guys can see, blue color comes right back. Okay. All right, that's pretty neat. I love that one. Now, investigation number 4 deals with two chemicals, solution A and solution B. Okay, they are both clear. All right. Now, solution A is lead 2 nitrate, and solution B is potassium iodide. Notice that they're both clear, transparent. You can see right through. So now, put a little background. You can see they're perfectly clear. Now, what you're to do is, at your desk, combine the contents of both test tubes. I measured out 5 mL of each, so I'm just going to simply take one and pour it into the other. Look at that, magic. We have a new color formed, okay? That one's really cool, okay? So a new substance is formed, all right? All right, that's investigation number 4. Investigation number 5 deals with baking soda and vinegar. So what we have is we have 3 grams of pre-measured baking soda. It's a white powder, and I'm going to put that into a beaker. Right there. Just gonna erase that a little bit for you. And I'm going to take the vinegar, okay, 10 mLs. I'm going to pour it into a container, and look at that. Just a little overflow container there. And there's a release of a gas, okay? It is bubbling, and you almost saw that it almost went over. A little more in there, okay? That's something you commonly do in like elementary school, make it the volcanoes. All right, investigation number 6. Measure out 1.8 grams of sodium chloride. This one's really cool, I love this one. Okay, now, we have our 1.8 grams of salt, and we want to add it to 10 mLs of deionized water, which I'm going to do. I'm going to pour the salt into the test tube containing water. We'll put a rubber stopper on top. Mix it up. So basically, I just made salt water. Okay, let's put it right there. And now, we might actually have to use a black background to see this. I'm actually going to hold it in front. All right, so I'm going to pour this silver nitrate drop by drop into the salt water. You guys can see the cloud forming. This is one of my favorite ones. Just going to keep adding it and adding it. Like so. Let it sit for a minute. Okay, see the color? Okay, so a new solid formed at the top. Okay, so we have a new substance that forms. All right. Okay, investigation number 7 involves taking 0.20 grams of iron filings and 0.20 grams of sand, okay, which I have a pre-measured amount of both of them. I have iron filings here and white sand. We're going to take the watch glass, pour them both on together. Now, it says, try to separate the mixture using a magnet by running the magnet along the underside of the watch glass. So I take my magnet and I put it under here, and I could drag the iron to one side. Okay. So I can actually get the sand to go to one side and the iron go to the other. All right. A little bit of persuasion, you'll get all the iron on one side. You go back and comb it. Just keep trying to pull the iron in. Okay, so you can move it around. You can see the iron goes from one side to the other. Okay, that one's pretty cool. Now, investigation number 8 involves taking 5 ml of sodium hydroxide solution and transfer it into one test tube. Then measure out 5 ml of hydrochloric acid solution with phenolphthalein and place it into your second test tube. At your desk, combine the contents of both test tubes. Describe results. Okay, so here we go. We have 2 test tubes. Clear. So let me just move this. I'm going to take this rack. 2 clear test tubes. Pour one into the other. And takes on a pink haze. Okay. All right, guys. That's the end of that. Just record your results in the data table. Write down your observations, what you saw, and determine if it's a chemical or physical change. And don't forget to answer the 5 questions at the end. All right, guys.